What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video, and I'm fired up today, and that's because I've been watching film from Jerzhan, aka Johnny Newton, and his game against the Bears. Let me tell you, this guy is exactly what we wanted him to be, which in my opinion could turn out to be the steal of the 2024 draft. Now, in the preseason and coming into week one, I heard a lot of people saying, a lot of negative things about Johnny Newton, thinking that he wasn't going to be, that guy to come in, they wasted a pick on a guy that had a broke foot. And then, oh, look, he's got another broke foot. This guy has done nothing but get better each week. I started seeing flashes a couple weeks ago, but this past week, he really started stepping into a role. And it's a role that we kind of thrust him into, because there's absolutely no choice in the matter. The team has to have him step up now, or they're not going to be able to keep pace. That's because Jonathan Allen's out for the season. Now, don't get it twisted. Newton and Allen are not the same type of players. I honestly view Newton as a little bit more versatile than Allen. I would have Allen as the better overall player at this point, but Newton can move from one side to the other. He can literally play every position on the defensive line. He did his last year at Illinois. Let's not forget this guy was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year last year. But against the Bears, in 36 snaps, this guy had 8 pressures, 3 quarterback hits. He recovered a fumble, and he had a tackle for loss that honestly, arguably, probably should have been a sack. And when I say shoulda, I mean it should have been scored a sack. I'll show you that here in a second. Not to mention he also made 3 tackles along the way. All of that while being double teamed 7 times in those 36 snaps. Now, if you're a person that just rides the stat sheet, so to speak, and doesn't really look inside the numbers a little bit, then you might, look past this performance and say, oh, well, that was okay. But Newton had the best overall score out of all players, in the burgundy and gold this week, according to PFF. For what that's worth, anyway. That said, let's just hop right into film. Personally, I believe that this play right here was probably scored incorrectly, because the more I see it, and I've watched it several times since having it in the top play countdown that I posted, and I'll post a link up in the upper right hand corner there, but I've watched it several times since then, and every time I think to myself, that is a sack right there. There's no other way to look at this other than to say that this right here is a sack. Caleb Williams goes to pull the ball down. He never even gets a chance to move the ball forward and gain another yard. He pulls it down instantly. That's a sack. That's the definition of a sack. And maybe once the league sees film of this, they'll, correct this scoring error here, because he definitely was sacked right here. He never gains a single yard, goes down instantly. I'm not sure how you could say he pulled the ball down and got yardage here and became a runner. But, I guess there's some gray area in this conversation. But to me, my boy 95 is getting hosed right here, because this should have been Johnny Newton's first NFL sack. Watch it back in real time. He completely gets in there, does his job, gets inside of the screen right here, and is able to get in between Caleb and, the play happening. Of course, what causes the overall problem right here is the offensive lineman over there is in his line of sight. Then, of course, Caleb has to pull it down, and Johnny Newton is right there, right place, right time, and he explodes on the play. That's a sack, man. When I first saw this play right here, I thought to myself, why in the world did he overthrow the guy on the outside so bad on this play? He really launched it. You see the replay, and you see why, because Johnny Newton was all up on him. Check that out. Johnny fights his way through, gets right in Caleb's face. Caleb sees him right there at the last second, has to get rid of it. Watch it back in real time and watch him work through those offensive linemen shifting. These offensive linemen are all shifting around, and he changed this play single-handedly, getting through them and getting into Caleb's sight right there, his line of sight, and making Caleb let go of the ball just a little bit off, and the ball flails and goes way over the receiver's head, who was set up over here on the outside. Look at that. That receiver was set up over here on the outside. He was probably going to get, at least, 5 to 7, 8 yards before he sees his first, defender. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I absolutely love these defensive linemen that will get up here and just hold on to the offensive lineman who, let's be honest, probably has the size advantage, but Newton definitely has the leverage advantage. And he just holds that man as long as he wants to, and then right when he sees what the running back is doing, he just dumps him. And then boom, tackle for loss behind the line of scrimmage. I talked a lot about this guy before the season, and I really think he could do big things in the NFL, because like in college, his game is just full of film of him breaking through offensive linemen, tossing guys left and right. I fully expected him to be able to step in and do things the moment he was healthy from those feet being worked on. I worried that the feet might have caused, some sort of issues of him not being able to get back soon enough to make an impact this season. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. And, honestly, I hate the fact that Jonathan Allen got hurt, but it really has thrust him into a role where he has to play more snaps, and he's going to be able to show himself more and more as the weeks move forward. What I love about this breed of defensive lineman is how he does not give up. He is balls to the wall, and I'm going to tell you, the guy is not a slouch. But as you see on this play right here, he gets blocked pretty well, actually, and he's out of the play. But he responds by spinning out of it, staying with it, and look, folks, he makes the tackle. Keeps moving, keeps him chopping, and ends up making the tackle. Oh, did I mention that this cat controls the line of scrimmage? Did I mention he does what he wants with pretty much any of these offensive linemen? Oh, that's right, I did, my bad. Look, this guy is going to make us happy in big moments of games. As he did on this play right here, gets around the Bear center, kind of tosses him to the side, does what he wants. And I will say this, though. The Bears center is able to react enough to that to be able to push him just a little bit out. Although I will say that he was close to a block in the back, so was 79, real close. As ticky-tacky as some of those penalties, where Watchin was taken, that's a little close right there. But Johnny Newton works through it. And this is the play where Caleb almost took that sack when you watch the play, and he just barely gets rid of that. You can make an argument that, maybe that should have been replay right there. Like that knee was close to being down, but yeah, they showed it of the angle on the TV, and it looked like he barely let go of it right before his knee hit the ground. So, it came that close to being a sack right there, like being his first sack in his career. But watch it back in real time and see the way that he does what he wants right up the center of that field, man. Look, doom, 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 doom. Damn near made the sack, man. I think people are wrong to judge a lot of these defensive linemen based on sack total alone, because they do a lot of disrupting that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And Johnny Newton is definitely, a guy that fits that bill. And this play right here is perfect, prime example of that. You got a lot of players shifting out here. Obviously, you got your setting up for a screen to the left here. But Johnny Newton kind of gets caught in the middle. He kind of gets caught in no man's land, so to speak. He's not over here stuck in the screen over to the side where the ball's going to go. He's not to the other side, where the fake's at. He's kind of stuck in the middle here, and he sees Caleb fake that pass and instantly stops and goes after him. Now, at that point, Caleb has no choice but to let go of the ball out of bounds. It really needs to be watched back in real time to justify this. I mean, Johnny was all over that. Of course, it helps that when you got Daron Payne over here in between the quarterback and, the receiver the ball's going to go to, and Payne is taller than the quarterback and is very capable of making that interception and returning that interception for a touchdown. Just a couple of seconds more on this play right here, or if Caleb, holds the ball just a little bit longer, and this, my friends, is a sack. He puts a little bit of a shoulder into him, so he is right there. Caleb lets go of it. He is right behind him, puts shoulder on him, like, yeah, man, like he has to pull up. And another one up the gut. And he puts hands on Caleb Williams as Caleb's letting go of the ball right here. Caleb's lucky to get rid of that one as well. 2 guys on his hips as he lets go of the ball. But when you watch it back in real time, you'll see that the ball just flails all the way out of bounds. This was the DPI, the pass interference call at the end of the game on Benjamin St-Juste. But if you watch the play back, you'll see that Johnny Newton, has his way with the center on this play too, and is well on his way into just putting Caleb Williams to the ground. Head to the center of his chest cavity a couple seconds after he lets go of it. Of course, he lets off, but Newton was just a couple of steps behind him on this play. Watching back in real time, you'll see him blast right through the line. Now, Johnny was well on his way on this play right here, and the offensive lineman just makes a really good block on him and basically saves the sack right here, as you see. Like, look, Johnny's coming through, boom, knocks him back. That would have been a sack, y'all. Watch it back in real time, you see. Yeah, that would have been a sack. I mean, I guess you could make an argument that Caleb could have made a couple of moves and gotten away from him there, but yeah, he would have had an opportunity to put hands on him because he was coming directly for him. Now, this is the only time I've seen this happen to Johnny all season long, but he gets a little bit manhandled here, and I think it's more along the lines of he loses his leverage, loses his footing a little bit, maybe trips a little bit as the guy's coming by him or right behind him. The Bears lineman, maybe he steps on his foot a little bit, maybe trips a little there. And the other Bears offensive lineman's able to grab him by the pads and put him to the deck a little bit there. And if you watch it back in real time, you'll see that while Johnny does hit the deck, it doesn't keep him from jumping back up and trying to run after the play. Bad part about it is this is the turning point play right here where, the Bears made a comeback in the game with this DeAndre Swift play. All in all, what a game by this rookie. I mean, this guy is starting to come on and show us what we already saw back in college when he was at Illinois, but now it's starting to translate on the field with the burgundy and gold. I've been saying it since I saw his college film the very first time, and I'm going to say it again. This guy is going to be the steal of the 2024 draft when all is said and done. That said, we have to see how he stands up to the test of time. He did have those surgeries before the season. I got an eye on him now. I definitely am watching the defensive line when 95 is in the game because I want to see what he can do to the inner part of that line, as well as how much are they moving him around. Could we perhaps maybe see him play end a little bit? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we know he's not a quote-unquote edge rusher, but in this defense, I've seen a lot of different guys move all the way up and down the line. Something to keep an eye on. This guy keeps bringing it like he has been the last 2 or 3 weeks, and the sacks are going to come. At any rate, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments, and if you don't mind, reach up there and hit that thumbs up before you take off. Y'all take it easy. Peace.